Hey everybody, it is me, the Blushing Scribe, and I'm here to talk about the Top 10 War and Revolution film costume designs, edition number 1. I am super excited, lots to talk about, so let's dive right in. Alright, so number 1, Mad Max Fury Road. Jenny Beavan was the costume designer. She actually won the Oscar, as did many people, because Mad Max cleaned up at the Oscars. It was pretty much amazing from top to bottom, between production design, set design, costume design, special effects, makeup, stunt design, sound. Everything was off the chain. It was very anxiety ridden for me and felt very dehydrated the whole time. It was not about the mother's milk and eating the desert, but that's life for you. So let's not go there, people. Recycle and save the baby whales. I don't know. Anyway, very, very cool, from Tom Hardy to Charlize Theron to the War Boys to the Morning Joe, everybody, and the model girls that were so beautiful. What a juxtaposition between all the filthiness that was everywhere. It was very intense, very hip, but definitely very futuristic and kind of gross and kind of awesome and really amazing. So check out that newest Mad Max. Old ones are good, but this one, last one's amazing. Number 2, Les Miserables. Paco Delgado got nominated for the Oscar for this. I think this won a bunch of Oscars, but I know it definitely, for some of the design, definitely was recognized. I think we can all recognize that Hugh Jackman could just let him be. It's just a loaf of bread. Anyway, I know that sounded a lot like him, but that was just my voice. But he was amazing. Everybody was amazing. Russell Crowe, Helen Bonham Carter, Sacha Baron Cohen, who were total goofballs, but those fools did a pretty good job as the comic relief. Their costumes were actually really great and really matched their kind of off-the-wall characters, but weren't totally over the top. Everybody else looked pretty amazing. It was a time that everybody wants to be alive. Post-revolutionary France during a rebellion. Everyone's favorite. Anyway, number 3, Memoirs of a Geisha, Colleen Atwood. This was just all around an incredibly beautiful film, set in World War II, going over the sacrifices and all the things that go on in a geisha's life, which can be rewarding, I think, in ways, but definitely a lot of things that can bring a lot of challenges, especially during World War II time. Japanese culture is so beautiful and so intricate and so historically everything, articulate and intricate and deep-rooted, everything. There's really effects depending on who wears traditional everything. Everything is very specific, which is really, really great. But geishas obviously are Japanese females and are seen as the most beautiful, and they're trained for years and years to sing and dance and perform and be conversationalists, and are just specifically, paid to be entertainment. But often they were sold to houses when they were younger and could have had more troubled youths, and if they weren't picked to become geishas, wasn't that rewarding, and it was just a lot of struggles. But the story is very, very interesting, and ultimately I'll let you figure out what happens, but it's a very, very touching story. Number 4, Troy, Bob Ringwood, nominated for an Oscar, and Bob's gonna come up again because he does an amazing job. But Troy, Brad, and Eric Bana, all of them. I mean, it's times like this that you reminisce and, rue the day that you weren't born a slave girl and were there to help bring them wine and leaves and the blood of thine enemies. I'm pretty sure that's what slave girls did. I would have done that for them. Anyway, all soldiers were very exquisitely outfitted with various armors depending from where they hailed, or Troy or Greece or one of the other little pockets of soldier groups that they had. But really, actually, the women were stunning in this. Diane Kruger, Rose Byrne, Saffron Burrows, and even good old Brad Pitt's mom, Julie Christie, really looked stunning, beautiful, from their hair / wigs, which who cares, you look beautiful, their makeup, their just genetics in general, but their gowns, their robes, stolas, I believe, depending on if that's appropriate for that time, I believe. Anyway, amazing accessories. I was like, if I'm not Diane Kruger when I grow up, I quit. Still haven't become her, but I aspire. Anyway, they glowed. Everybody was beautiful. I too would like a waist length wig that goes down with zero frizz and the perfect Troy Beach waves. Waiting for it to come in the mail. All right, number 5, Gladiator. Along the same lines, Genty Yates won for costume design, and Gladiator won for a lot of other things, as that is another film that cleaned up. I don't know what it is about Gladiator, but it really messed me up when I was younger, like in my 9, 10 to 11 or 12 years, but it really did. I'm not sure if it's maybe because I wanted to marry Russell Crowe, or if I was conflicted because I equally wanted to marry Joaquin Phoenix and he wasn't that awesome of a guy in the film. I don't know. I felt a lot of feelings. Anyway, I'm partial to Greek and Roman culture, as that is what I specialized in my money-making degree at Ohio State of classical history and theater. So I'm always pleased with gladiatorial army and togas and wrapped in their leather cords and looking real fine. Everything about the film is incredibly beautiful and painful. I always love this line: the general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, the gladiator who defied an empire, and he will have his vengeance. Yes. No, thank you. Stop. No more applause. Anyway, yes. Oh, Gladiator. Number 6, Empire of the Sun. Bob Ringwood, nominated for an Oscar for this. This is little baby Christian Bale. This came out in 1987, when little baby wee Batman was just a wee lad. He starred in this World War II film that was about a young English boy struggling to survive under Japanese occupation in England. You'll see wardrobe based not only in the 1940s, but also in England, which you don't always see because often World War II films are either based in America, like Pearl Harbor, or in Germany, other, different European films, but you see him in his little British schoolboy, and you see him in other Asian-influenced attire. Everybody throughout it, you'll see throwback of John Malkovich. Everything is crazy. I was looking back on it, and I was like, whoa, that all happened. All right, number 7, Schindler's List. Anna B. Shepherd, nominated for costume design for an Oscar, won for a lot of other things. Schindler's List is one of my all-time favorite films, and it'll probably come up again, and I'll talk about it. But one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite films is it portrayed the very, very obviously serious pain of World War II in Europe without glossing it over and making it more digestible for the viewers. It was pretty real as you can be in a lot of ways without, eventually turning into a documentary or without getting too unnecessarily grotesque, without being a documentary that really describes it. But it is based off Oskar Schindler, who was a real man who really did help rescue a lot of Jewish families from death camps. And he was known as a very suave individual, ladies' man, but he had so many amazing qualities. His wardrobe, as well as everybody else's, was perfectly suited for their role, for where they were in the film, where they were in the world, and their rank in life at that time that people saw them, which was very obviously unfair and cruel, but everything was, Steven Spielberg did his research. Who would have thought? It's amazing. It's very touching, very, very harrowing, but very, very lovely. Number 8, Braveheart, nominated for an Oscar. Charles Node. Kilts on kilts, man. Why don't we do more films with more quilts? There's a demand for it. Where is our supply? I don't know. It's Mel Gibson's face with the makeup tutorial worthy contouring of the blue and white, perhaps, but I need more of it. It's a really unique time period. There are films that are based in the 14th century, but certainly not many 14th century Scotland with kilts flying around. It's a really sad story. Poor William Wallace. Talk about war and revolution. But the line, it's a long line, but they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. I don't know what I went into there, but those are the words, and yeah, that's that movie. Anyway, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, number 9, Gangs of New York. I know I've talked about it before in other videos, but it's still one of my favorites and really great for a lot of things. Sandy Powell, nominated for an Oscar for this, for costume design. And I've talked about Gangs of New York because it's fascinating in so many areas: production design, costume design, the acting, the PAs that had to look over, Daniel Day-Lewis's tendril oil, a lot of really important things to keep the film going. But everything was just so incredibly intense. So many unnecessary amputations. I wonder if people really did cut off as many ears as they do in that film. It'd be pretty interesting if they did. But it's a period piece, so designers can really stretch the legs and be more creative, and they certainly did, especially really with all the roles. But I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis's role, they really went a little wild with him, but in the best way. But paints the time of the culture, the time, place, and the real life bloodiness of the climate, literally and emotionally, figuratively and scientifically and theoretically. Number 10, Milk. Danny Glicker was nominated for an Oscar for this, although Milk won other additional Oscars. Milk was so great because recreating life on a 1970s set can either be a little too much or a little too little. We get it. Browns and tweeds and wide tights and crop tops. I know. I'm on board. No, I'm not. We don't need to be hit over the head with it, but Milk, while portraying an incredibly important time for progression for lesbian gay rights, which would eventually pave the way for the whole LGBTQ plus community, which is great that we have films like this that are shedding light on the activists that came along. Was super important, but it kept it as classy as the 70s can be, it was capable of being, while setting a really appropriate tone for the film that is very relevant to then, very relevant to now, and all the strides that we're taking, and all the strong people of the community that are hopefully working together to make more strides. So anyway, that is about it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was fun and interesting. If you have any questions or any ideas or any feedback or anything, just let me know. I am super excited to hear from you. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Tune in for one of my other videos coming out every Monday, and hope to see you soon. All right. Thanks. Bye.